Okay, welcome Graham. I'm talking today to Graham Reid, coach of the Australian men's hockey team, one of the all-time best teams, or certainly in the recent era. Faltered a couple of times, just recently at the Olympics, but otherwise than that, just about swept everything before them. Graham, welcome.
Thanks Budgie, thank you.
Graham, what do you think are the critical factors in creating a winning hockey team?
Critical factors, I think certainly having players, having good players. Without good players, then any coach will struggle. So I think getting that mix right. I think it's a good mix of experience, youth, to give you that little bit of drive, and little players. So you need a good blend. I think that's an important part. Certainly, the team culture is important. And I think that's something that you work on throughout the tenure, however long you have with the team. I think that's something that ends up becoming a reflection, perhaps, of the group.
We see quite an emphasis on short corners these days in the game. How important is it to have a specialist strike flicker inside?
Yeah, look, I think it is definitely. When we won the World Cup in 2010, and I think we had probably one of the world's best there. We were flicking well. In London, Chris, world-class flicker. We didn't execute things around the corners perhaps as well as what we did during the World Cup, so that was a little perhaps a bit disappointing in London. But yeah, you have to have one these days. I think it's important, and more so even for your variations. If you don't have a viable person flicking at the front, then it takes off the rest of the shine from your variation as well.
When selecting a team, some players more or less select themselves in the senior teams. Then there's a few who are mediocre, and then eventually you're coming right down to the wire and you're left with two players.
Yep.
How do you select one over the other?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting question because that can vary depending on what the requirements are for that last position. But I tell a lot of juniors that it's very important that you have PCA, PCD skills, so penalty corner attack and defence skills. So if the person can trap or stand on the post or run out, then that makes them a lot more selectable than perhaps the others. So when it comes down to it, two players are the same, then often that's those fixed set play skills that can make the difference.
Okay. You've got a team of players. How do you motivate them?
Well, it's very good. It's interesting because for Australia we don't have to. It's often someone asks that question. It's something that you don't have to worry about, because to play for their country they are motivated. So I think the key is trying to find that thing that the players want. Do they want to win? And try and find that common goal. And if it's not obvious, and things like the Olympic Games, if it's a club team and the Premiership is normally the thing, and that you will find that common goal. And it's really just about trying to get everyone working towards that, I think.
Okay, sometimes things aren't quite going right. Motivating your players, you've got to pull somebody up an bit shorter and then criticise them, for want of a better word. How do you do that?
I think the easiest way is to point out to them what they're doing well and what they're doing right. And video is fantastic these days, so it takes a little bit of the edge off. It's no longer hearsay, it's no longer, I think you should know this, look here, you see what I'm getting at, have a look at this, this is what you're meant to do. So I think you can be a lot I don't want to say softer, but certainly you don't have to be as difficult or as hard as what perhaps in the old days.
You have more tools about it.
Yeah, correct, that's right. You can be a bit more constructive.
We used to have defenders, midfielders, forwards. Yeah, these days we see guys running all through the lines. How do you develop the all-round player?
Yeah, well, I think that has to start very young. I've got two kids, and so I coach junior teams myself. And I think one of the things that we need to be trying to develop is players that are comfortable no matter what position they're playing. And I think that's happening. We're seeing a lot more rotations. So when someone comes off, they go back on, often in a different position. So that's a good way to get them to that. And so really then it's up to the coach to try to explain to them and get the players to understand what what's required for those different positions. So I think it's got to start early, it's got to start young, and then hopefully the benefits will happen as they come into the senior ranks.
When a player receives the ball, what's the first thing they should do?
Well, I'll go back a step because my belief on, and I think it's one of the easiest parts of hockey is actually looking and having a bit of an idea of what you've got on before you actually do receive it. So what you do before you receive it will often dictate what you're doing when you receive it. Once you do receive it, then the very first thing you need to do is get the first touch to where you think you need to go. So if it's back towards goal, if it's going to sometimes you've got to open your seam where you haven't got anyone with you all along. And other times you need to close your seam quite strong, a bit like the Germans do very well.
Okay, so do you have any rules about when a player, an attacking player, take on the defence or to play the ball off?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we certainly in the midfield, we very much get and give, get the ball and give an early pass at the time. If it's not on, sometimes you do need to run the ball, but you need to be looking for that pass. Inside, as you get closer to the circle, and in the circle, then sometimes sort of slower really. But again, the same principles do apply. If there is an easier and better pass on, then you should do it. Otherwise, you'll beat the player and then looking again for a pass. I think one of the things that you see in junior hockey, but also as you come through the ranks here, someone will beat one player, try and beat another or another, and then get it coming unstuck. Whereas if you can beat one player, then be looking to find a penetrating pass.
Effectively, they are something.
Yeah, correct. By carrying the ball. And you see a lot more strikers now. So when we're coming out of the defence, you see a lot of strikers reverse pressing or tackling back, whatever you want to call it. And obviously they will get motivated the longer you carry the ball. So just trying to stop that and throw the ball everything else.
We've seen so many rule changes in hockey, and again, last season, there's some rule changes during last year. If you could change one rule in hockey, what would it be and why?
Yeah, well, I'm becoming quite an addict to the new short corner that we've been practicing in the Super Series, which is, and I think they're going to be doing it in the Euro League this year. I'm not sure if that's still happening, but so that I think that's I think the problem with the short corner is that it's dangerous and it's very difficult to umpire. And you've got two umpires already that struggle with so many things going on. When we played the Super Series, it used to really do like a 4-on-3. Now I came ready to sort of blow it and then go, oh, this is just like hockey. It's nice. So, and again, I think something along those lines will be the answer, perhaps. The best thing that has happened at the game is obviously the autoplay or the self-passes has changed the game dramatically. I think that's something. If we can find another, those sort of rules to keep going, then that's great.
Okay. Last question. We see you've been working now with the Australian team for quite a while. Ric Charlesworth has come back into the fold in the men's team, and Ric's obviously pushing on in years. I'm not saying he's over the hill, but I'm interested in the imagination. Is there a succession plan in place, or is that?
Well, in my mind there is, of course. But unfortunately, the Hockey Australia has a process that they will go through, and whether Ric decides to finish after the World Cup, which is his intention at the moment, but obviously you may change that. But if that does happen, then there will be a process in place of which I will be one of the candidates, and that's obviously I'd like an opportunity for that to occur. So
Thank you very much. Good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thanks, mate.
Pleasure to have you here.